Hi everyone, Paul again, back. Day 3 video is just up now, but this is the standalone video for the 4 o'clock on day 3 of the Aintree Festival, which is obviously the Grand National itself, Class 1 handicap chase over 4 mile, 2.5 furlongs. So what I'll do is like I've done with other years of doing these, go through each of the horses, give a bit of a feedback on it, and then I'll give what I'm thinking towards the end. Okay, so we start off with horse number 1, I Am Maximus, Paul Townend, riding for Willie Mullins. He is the reigning defending champion, magnificent winner last year, has not gotten to plan 2 runs this season, pulled up on his first start before a disappointing, it's got to be said, it was a disappointing 8th the next time out. He's obviously got to carry top weight of 11 stone 12, but he's 9 years old. He clearly likes it around here, and everything is set for a big run, although it will be a hell of an effort to go and win it for a second time under top weight. Horse number 2, Royal Pagaille, 11 stone 9, Charlie Deutsch for Venetia Williams. This horse loves Haydock. Multiple time winner of the Betfair Chase, and the other key component to this horse seems to be soft, especially soft, if not heavy ground. He's going to get absolutely none of that here. Very large weight, 11 years old. It's hard to make a case for him on this one. Number 3, Nick Rocket, Willie Mullins, trained Patrick Mullins, rides. Got the ideal profile for a race like this. 8 years old is it's a good age to be at for it. 11 stone 8 is not insurmountable. Had some really good wins in like the likes of the Thistes, etc. In the over in Ireland this season. Seems to find a lot at the end of his races. So one thing I would say about this is, all things being equal, he should see out this trip no problem at all. Probably prefer a bit more dig in the ground, but he could give you a good run for your money. Horse number 4, Grange Clare West, Willie Mullins trains, Brian Hayes rides. In and out form this year, but there's a standout piece of form where he finished behind Galopin Des Champs earlier on. He was a very good 2 miler, and he's proven he stays 3 miles. Classy horse. It's got to be taken on trust if he'll stay this trip, because in his breeding, there's not a great deal that's saying, please run me over 3 miles if I'm being on it, or 4 mile, 2.5 furlongs, to be honest. Horse number 5, Hewick, for Shark Hanlon, Gavin Sheehan taking the ride. They call this one the People's Horse. There's been videos of him down in Guinness. He cost something like 12,000 quid. And let's be honest, he's been an absolute superstar of a horse. I remember a couple of years ago, I won a good few quid on him in the Bet365 chase on the last day of the season at Sandown. And his last run, just after Cheltenham, he went and won a hurdles race at Thurles. Didn't run massively bad in the Irish Gold Cup, for all he was beaten 12.5 lengths, but he does seem very much a stayer, and if he takes to the fences, he would have a very live chance. Horse number 6 is Manila Indo. Rachel Blackmore rides for Henry de Bromhead. Run an absolute screamer. And if you remember, I did say this horse could outrun its odds in the National last year. Only had the 2 runs this year, presumably keeping fresh for here. But the horse is 12 years old now. And while I think he should, all things being equal, give a good spin round, it's very hard to see a 12-year-old winning this Grand National tomorrow. Horse number 7, Appreciate It. Willie Mullins again trained, Sean O'Keefe. I find this totally bizarre that this is a horse like winning and running in the Supreme Novice Hurdle like 3 years ago, I think it was, and now in a Grand National. Has bits and pieces of form, but jumping hasn't always been a key feature of his, and nothing in breeding is saying, hey, let's run over 4.25 miles. Stranger things have happened, but I don't think it will happen tomorrow. Horse number 8, Manila Kakuna, Willie Mullins again, Jonathan Burke taking the ride. Now, this is really fascinating, that Jonathan Burke rides, because Paul Nicholls earlier this week actually announced that Jonathan Burke was going to be riding one of his horses that we'll get to in a while. I think it was 300-3.5. That didn't happen. And then next thing, he's suddenly riding Manila Kakuna. So it would suggest that he's obviously thinks that's got a better chance. Manila Kakuna is a very, very strong stayer. As a rule of thumb, his jumping has been very good. He came very, very late on the day to win the race I mentioned for Hewick the other year, the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown the last day of the season. And this year he's been keeping very, very high level company. With behind the likes of Factophile, Galloping Deschamps, was beaten by Nick Rocket last time out. And those two, as I said, it's a tight line of form and there's not much between them. Horse number 9 is Conflated. Gordon Elliott trains. Jordan Gainford takes the ride. This horse has been in the wilderness all season, has shown absolutely nothing. They've tried him over these fences. They've tried him in cross country, shorter, longer. It's not happening for him at the moment, so they're having to tilt at the National. All things being equal, I just don't see Conflated hitting the frame tomorrow. Horse 10 is Stumptown, Gavin Cromwell. Keith Donoghue takes the ride. Now, this is another horse that's got an ideal profile. 8 years old, gets in off 11 stone 2, and has actually won his last 4 races, including the cross country over basically just under 4 miles at the festival last month. In December, his previous run won the cross-country trial. He does like the Banks course at Punchestown as well. The unique fences do seem to bring about the best in him. I'm interested to see how he gets on an entire round over these fences, but Stumptown has a very, very live chance. Horse 11 is Hitman. Paul Nichols trains. Freddie Gingell takes the ride. He is the perennial bridesmaid. They have run him over 2 mile, 2 mile 3, just under 3 mile. He always seems to find one to get beat. Nothing is screaming out to me. Run him over 4.5 miles, and he does have some big mistakes in his jumping, in his profile. But there's been steady money for him from 100 to 1 into 33 to 1. My personal opinion, I don't. On all known form, I just don't know if he's going to get 4.5 mile. Horse 12 is Beauport. Nigel Twiston-Davis, Sam Twiston-Davis takes the ride. Ultra consistent, dour stayer of a horse is Beauport. One thing about his feature is, as a rule of thumb, he is a very good jumper, but all of his form is right-handed, and he runs drastically below his level going left-handed. That will be a huge concern for me. Horse 13, Brave Man's Game. Paul Nichols trains. James Reevely takes the ride. 10 years old now. He is, without doubt, the class horse of the race. He's got some of the best back form you'll see, including the likes of getting placed in Gold Cups, winning King George's. And to be honest, this season hasn't been particularly great. He run a decent race, I suppose you'd say, on his comeback in the Charlie Hall, when second to the Real Whacker. Was beaten a long way, but stayed on well in the Betford Chase. Very disappointing at Kempton in his King George, and was beaten fair and square in the Denman by Newbury for all there could be a bit of an excuse that the ground was too soft for him. He does seem like a good stayer, but he does like to race prominently, it seems. So whether or not he'll get, not an uncontested lead, but like not surrounded on the lead is another matter. But he is a class horse, and he could give you a very good run for your money without winning. 14 is Chantry House. Nicky Henderson trains. James Bowen taking the ride. He's one horse I never in my life thought that I would see in a Grand National. They abandoned chasing with him for a period because he kept on falling and unseating and making mistakes. He's been campaigned, like as I said, in the past few seasons, largely over hurdles. For that reason, he has come to his form a bit in recent runs, and to be fair to him, he did win a handicap chase on New Year's Day at Cheltenham. Then he went for the Cotswolds, and the usual jumping issues re-emerged here. I don't think his jumping will hold up over these fences. We'll wait and see. Horse 15, Paul Nichols, Harry Skelton takes the ride, and that is 5 under through 5. Interesting horse, this, at 10 years old, gets in off a lovely weight. He came fourth in the Scottish National a couple of years ago, and last time out, he only went down literally on the line at Ascot in a big handicap chase there over 3 mile. He's got good form up to and including around 3 mile 2 and beyond, and in his pedigree, being by Shantu, his sire, every chance he will stay. There is worse 40 to 1 shots running tomorrow, I would say. Horse number 16 is Percival Legailloir, I'll pronounce it. Crawford trained, Mark Walsh taking the ride, which would make it seem that he could be his pick, because obviously he doesn't get to pick Iron Maximus or wherever we got there. But his form is very, very good. Won a listed handicap chase over a hurdle, sorry, she did, over 3 mile on the Dublin Racing Festival. And the time before that, won really, really well in another listed race at Leopardstown. The key to this horse definitely seems to be going left-handed. If you look at the lesser efforts, they've been at Fairyhouse, Punchestown, Galway, all right-handed tracks. Going left-handed here, clearly has an engine, which, bearing in mind, Ballingarry is the sire of this one. Staying was always going to be the game. I think this one has got a very, very live chance. Seems to go on most grounds as well. Number 17 is the Can Do Kid. Paul Nicholls trains. Harry Cobden takes the ride. This has been his race target all year, according to Paul Nicholls, and won first time out what was called the Hennessy. I actually backed him that day, and I backed him last time out at Newbury 5 weeks ago, and he ran an absolute stinker. Didn't go a yard. He's got in off 10 stone 11 here, so a lovely weight. He will have to jump better than he has done at Newbury last time. Saying that though, his stamina is riddled through him. 20-1 is a good each way bet. If he gets his jump in together here and doesn't get himself too far behind, I can see him running well. Horse 18 is the selection. Those who have followed me on WhatsApp service know, and we have been backing this since November and again in January at 33-1 and 25-1. And that is Iroko, because this has been his plan ever since he came second at this meeting last year in the Mildmay Novices. At that point, the plan was, let's go for the Grand National, because the way he rallied that day. His season this year has been very, very good. First time out at Haydock, over 2.5 mile, run well. Unfortunately, at Ascot, the next time, he was brought down at the first. Nothing he could do about that. But 2 solid efforts since. One at Cheltenham at the trials day, over an inadequate 2.5 mile. And last time out at Kelso behind Grey Dawn in over 2 miles 6. Did really well. It was a very small field, which wouldn't have done. He got outpaced and stayed on behind Grey Dawning, who actually run a really solid race in the bowl. The extra distance should be absolutely ideal for him. Cocorico is obviously the sire, so plenty of stamina in there. 7 years old, so he's in the right matrix for what you want. 10 stone 11, and he is currently around 12-1. That is a great price. Intense Raffle is in here. Thomas Gibney rides for JJ Slevin in the two-tone Isaac Mania colours. Been intense money for this one recently, and obviously understandable. Won the Irish National over 2 mile 5 last year, and that was in heavy ground, so you're not doing that in heavy ground unless you are an absolute dire stayer. Showed absolutely nothing in his first run back over hurdles or at Navan over hurdles before going back to Fairyhouse for the Bobby Cho chase and just going down behind Nick Rocket. Suppose the slight concern would be all of his best form has most certainly been over right-handed and on heavier ground. So while he's got the ideal profile, will that work for him? 20 is Senior Chief Henry de Bromhead, Dara O'Keefe. Nice weight off 10 stone 10, but has got literally no stamina in his pedigree. Seemed to run well first time out, and that is the only time he seems to run well. He needs massive breaks between his races. He's had 2 lesser races, and is only 40 days since his last run. It's hard to make a case. Number 21 is Ida's Boy. Richard Phillip trains. Harry Bannister takes the ride. Why this horse is in here, I have absolutely no idea, and it annoys me when these horses get in, to be honest. He's got no form. His form in like the last 6 has been fell, third, first, 0, 6. Nothing anywhere near this trip. Nothing says he's going to get this trip. And he's basically got, it would be a miracle if he won. 22 is Phil Dorr for Gordon Elliott. Sam Ewan takes the ride. Again, lovely weight off 10 stone 9 and has been remarkably consistent this year. Never finished out the first 4. But what I would say is a couple of years ago, this horse was a very, very high-class hurdler, and he has some really, really solid form. The question of trust is actually going to come on his breeding. But being by Dr. Dino, there is a little bit in there, but not 4 miles worth in there. He could give you a very good run for your money at 80-1 without probably getting all the way home. 23 is Broadway Boy, Nigel Twiston Davis, Tom Bellamy. He has started the season really good, but really blotted his copybook at Cheltenham. And the time before that, he wasn't as good. He needs to get his jump in together. And whether he can do that in a massive field over the Grand National fences remains to be seen. The percentage call is to avoid him. 24 is a horse that everyone loves. Everyone loves a repeat horse, a grey horse, and we got Cocoa Beach. Gordon Elliott trains. Jodie McGarvey is actually taking the ride on this one. What is the not to love about Cocoa Beach? He's run in the last 3 nationals, and do you know what? He hasn't won. He hasn't necessarily looked like getting place, but he gets around and he knows what he's doing. He does look a doubtful stayer, though. He's never stayed in the cross country. He's never fully stayed in a Grand National. The better ground will help him. I think he could give you a great spin round without being enough. 25 is Stay Away Faye. Paul Nichols, Paul O'Brien takes the ride. Sorry, that is the one. When I mentioned before, Johnny Burke was meant to ride. This horse, I really fancied him for what was the RSA last year. Ran an absolute stinker. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a one-off. Went to the Scottish National, did nothing, and done nothing since. His last 5 form figures are pulled up, 0. It's nothing to recommend about this horse. 26 is interesting. Meeting of the Waters. That man, Willie Mullins again. Danny Mullins taking the ride. Great age at age 8. Lovely weight at 10 stone 7. And what I would say is he has got form from last year over this race. He actually led. If you look at it, he actually led 2 out. And he was bang there at the last before the stamina just completely and utterly ebbed out. So he'll give you a good run for your money. Now, what I would say on this one is since then, he hasn't shown the same level of form, being beaten 27 lengths, 23 lengths and 17 lengths. He's got in, as I said, off a lovely weight again here. He's another year older. He could give you a very good run for your money without possibly being quite good enough. Horse number 27 is Monbeg Genius. John Joe O'Neill is the trainer. Nick Schofield takes the ride. He came 13 lengths 4th in the Welsh National, which you could argue isn't actually a bad piece of form. And before then, in November as his prep run, he came 2nd at Haydock. Both of them on soft ground. One last time out Uttoxeter, dominating throughout. He's got a contest with faster ground here, which isn't ideal. And it's obviously, he did fade late on soft ground, granted, in the Welsh National. He's got a great profile for it. For all, I don't know if the ground is going to be quite right for him. Vanillier is in here, and Vanillier is now 10 years old, but a lovely weight off 10 stone 6. Gavin Cromwell trains. Sean Flanagan takes the ride. He finished like an absolute steam train to come 2nd in the Grand National in 2023, and his form has actually been really, really good. The last 2 starts after being completely in the wilderness. Won the cross-country race at Punchestown in February and run an absolute screamer to come 3rd in the cross-country after almost running off the course very, very early on. Stamina is his game, good ground is his game, and he seems to have got his mojo back the last couple of runs. He's quite long in the tooth at 10 years old, but at 10 stone 6 with the experience of the fences, you can't say anything bad really about Vanillier. 29 is Ohoranza de Eri for Michael Keedy. Kieran Gethin's taking the ride. He's another one. I don't know why he's here. Fell 2nd in an egg and spoon race. 9th. No stamina in his pedigree. Never run at this class. He shouldn't be there, in my opinion. So I would say he's got little to no chance. Highland is interesting. Nico de Boinville rides doing 10 stone 6 for Nicky Henderson. Now, Nicky Henderson's never won this race, which is a fascinating fact for one of the best trainers we've ever seen. But this horse has serious form this year. Won by 15 lengths at Cheltenham on good ground in October, beating Transmission, who actually ran a respectable race himself at Cheltenham. He then went back there in November and won again before running an absolute screamer in the Corto Star Novices behind the Jukebox Man, who was favourite for the Brown before he picked up an injury. Okay, he then went to Kempton and wasn't as good in February, and his jumping completely went to cock. Saying that though, the trainer did say that there was a load of trouble with the start and he pretty much lost all chance and got buzzed up at the start. He does stay 3 mile, but this is a major handicap, and it's a case of, does he have the experience to go and do it? I think he could give a very good run for your money though. One horse who I think is massively overpriced, even though he's the oldest in the lineup, is horse number 31, Celeb Dalen. Philip Hobbs trains. Miguel Nolan is taking the ride. Now, he was 4th in the Topham over these fences last year, and he absolutely loved it. Granted, he was beaten a long, long way, and he finished very, very tired in the Topham, but he's run well over him before. He's run in the Topham a couple of times and hasn't fully got home, but he's shown a liking for the Mildmay course. And what is interesting, he actually ran a really good race in the Beecher Chase a couple of years ago. He just seems to tire late on. Now, his form this year has been really, really good. And at the back end of last year, now in the Kim Muir last year, he was running a big race before he was unseated after being almost brought down. He then, obviously, as I said, won the Topham before going to Bangor for his first run of the year and won really, really well coming away. The percentage call is he's not going to win at 13 years of age. But again, his sire is Network, bundles of stamina, 10 stone 6, and has shown, at least he's always shown a liking for the fences at 200 to 1. He is, as I'm recording this. I've got it right here on the screen, 200 to 1. There is if some people like going, let's do something mad, there is a lot worse let's do something mad horses than him. My voice is going here. I've only got 3 more. Horse number 32, 3-card Bragg. Gordon Elliott, Sean Bowen takes the ride. Sean Bowen is an absolutely superb jockey, obviously. 8 years old, really nice weight. Only had 6 chases, but has the ideal profile for a horse like this one, really. If you look at his form this year, got absolutely slammed over 2.5 miles. But that was his first run of the season and seemed to blow up on it, to be honest with you. Much better run in January, up to 3 miles. When winning, it wasn't a great race at Navan, but did it well. And then just 3 weeks later, went for a Group 2 at Navan over 3 miles and came third. It came third, only beaten 5 lengths after making an absolute howler 3 out. Now, as long as he cuts out mistakes like that, then he could run a really, really big race, I think, at 25 to 1. But no experience in the fences, only 6 starts. The chances is he going to not make the mistakes that he's prone to make. Some horses, though, take to it like a duck to water. And there's worse bets at 25 to 1. Twig is in here for Ben Paulin, Bo Morgan taking the ride. He has been a great stayer over the years, but his last 4 runs of 5th, pulled up 7th, 10 years old now. The percentage call is it's not going to be his time today. And then at the bottom, the final horse, horse 34, Dufflecoat. Gordon Elliott trained, Danny Gilligan taking the ride. Another 8-year-old, gets in off 10 stone 4. He's had a lot of races. It's got to be said, this season already, because he ran right the way through the summer last year. But he was running a great race in the National Hunt Chase, it has to be said, at Cheltenham when being brought down 2 out. He was only 6 lengths down. Did nothing the time before that. And before that, he's got bits and bobs of form. Again, he's laden with stamina because his damn sire was Sadler's Wells. And he's the type who could seriously outrun his odds as well. But we're going to go for a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And I am sticking with what I've told everyone who's, I said, follow me on WhatsApp since November. I do think Irocco just has the perfect profile for this race. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Grand National this year, we are going to go for Irocco from Nick Rocket, Manila Kakuna, and Vanilla. Thanks for watching all these videos over the last few days, guys. Thanks for watching everything at Cheltenham as always this year. Always appreciate your comments. Thanks for coming back, and I'll see you again when I see you. Take care. Bye.